On August 15th, 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio detected something it had never seen before. A powerful, narrowband signal coming from deep space. It lasted for 72 seconds. The signal became stronger, peaked, and faded exactly as a distant source should while Earth rotated beneath the telescope. When astronomer Jerry Eman saw the printed data, he circled the strange code and wrote one word beside it: "Wow." What made the signal so unusual was its frequency. It appeared close to the natural radio frequency of hydrogen, the most common element in the universe, a frequency scientists once suggested an advanced civilization might use as a universal calling channel. But the signal never returned. Astronomers searched the same region again and again. Nothing. It may have been interference. It may have been a rare natural event. Or it may have been the closest thing humanity has ever received to a message from somewhere else. And the next signal is even stranger, because it does repeat. Fast radio bursts are among the shortest and most powerful signals ever detected from space. They appear without warning, last only a few milliseconds, and then vanish. But during that tiny moment, a single burst can release an enormous amount of energy in radio waves. Most come from galaxies millions or even billions of light years away. Some happen only once. Others return from the same location, sometimes in clusters, and sometimes after long periods of silence. Astronomers now know that at least some fast radio bursts can come from magnetars, dead stars with incredibly strong magnetic fields. But that does not explain every burst. Different signals may come from different cosmic engines. They are not alien messages, at least there is no evidence that they are. But they remain unsettling because the universe keeps shouting at us in flashes too short to fully understand. And one source did something even stranger. It kept coming back from the exact same place. FRB 12-10-2 was the first fast radio burst ever confirmed to repeat. Instead of flashing once and disappearing forever, it returned from the same point in space again and again. Astronomers traced it to a small galaxy roughly 3 billion light-years away. The source sits in an extreme environment beside a persistent radio glow, suggesting that something incredibly energetic is hidden there. The bursts do not arrive like a steady clock. The source can remain silent, then suddenly fire several signals close together. Some flashes last only milliseconds. Others contain even shorter structures, too fast for most cosmic objects to produce. A young magnetar may be responsible. But scientists still do not fully understand how one object creates such violent, irregular radio pulses. FRB 12-10-2 proved these signals were not always the final scream of something being destroyed. Whatever produced them survived and fired again. Tabby's star looks ordinary until its light suddenly drops. Most planets crossing a star block only a tiny, predictable amount of light. But Tabby's star has dimmed by far more, and the dips arrive without a simple repeating pattern. At times, the star has lost roughly 1/5 of its brightness, as if something enormous and uneven were passing in front of it. That led to wild ideas: swarms of comets, shattered planets, or even an alien megastructure collecting the star's energy. But the strongest evidence points to something less dramatic and still mysterious: irregular clouds of fine dust. The dimming is stronger in blue light than in red, exactly what dust should cause, so it probably is not aliens. But astronomers still do not know exactly where all that dust came from, or why it keeps crossing the star in such strange patterns. BLC One was a narrow radio signal detected while astronomers were observing Proxima Centauri, the closest star to the Sun. The signal lasted for several hours and changed frequency in a way that initially looked like motion from a distant transmitter. That immediately made it interesting. Proxima Centauri also has planets, including one in the star's habitable zone, so for a moment the signal looked like something humanity had been waiting for. But repeated analysis found similar signals in other observations. The pattern matched radio interference produced by human technology, not an alien civilization. So BLC One was almost certainly not a message from another world. But it became one of the best tests modern SETI had ever faced, a signal strange enough to look artificial, close enough to feel possible, and convincing enough to survive months of investigation. The next signal did not come from a nearby star. It came from the center of our own galaxy. Near the center of the Milky Way, astronomers detected a radio source with a name almost as strange as its behavior. ASKAPJ 173608.2-32-1635. It appeared several times, became extremely bright, then vanished. Its radio waves were strongly polarized, meaning the signal had been twisted by powerful magnetic fields. But when astronomers searched the same location in visible light, infrared, and X-rays, they found nothing. It did not behave like a normal star, pulsar, or known magnetar. Later observations suggested it might be a fast-moving neutron star interacting with its surroundings, but no explanation fits every detail. The object may represent a rare type of Galactic Center Radio Transient, or something entirely new. The next mystery is even larger, because it appears as a giant ring floating in space. Odd radio circles are enormous rings of radiolight floating far beyond the Milky Way. They are almost invisible in ordinary images. Telescopes can photograph the galaxies inside them, but the giant circles appear only at radio wavelengths. Some are hundreds of thousands of light-years across, making them larger than entire galaxies. At first, astronomers had no idea what they were. They did not look like supernova remnants, planetary nebulae, or normal radio galaxies. They were too large, too symmetrical, and too rare. The leading idea is that they may be shock waves created by violent events in distant galaxies. Perhaps enormous bursts from supermassive black holes or the aftermath of galaxies merging. But the full explanation is still uncertain. Something released enough energy to create a glowing ring across an almost unimaginable distance. And the next signal is stranger because it behaves like a clock that suddenly forgets the time. Pulsars are dead stars that spin with extraordinary precision, sending radio beams past Earth like cosmic clocks. Astronomers can predict when each pulse should arrive. But after watching many pulsars for years, they noticed something strange. Some signals arrived slightly early, others arrived slightly late, and the changes followed a pattern across the sky. The pulsars were not malfunctioning, space itself was moving. The leading explanation is a background hum of gravitational waves created by pairs of supermassive black holes orbiting across the universe. As those waves stretch and squeeze space, they alter the travel time of radio pulses by tiny amounts. So the mysterious signal is not coming from one object. It may be the combined vibration of countless black holes, turning the entire galaxy into a gravitational wave detector. And the next signal lasted only a few milliseconds, but changed astronomy forever. The Lorimer Burst was the first fast radio burst ever discovered. It had been hiding inside old telescope data for years. When astronomers finally found it, the signal lasted only a few milliseconds, yet it appeared to come from far beyond the Milky Way. That made no sense. To be detected across such an enormous distance, the source had to release a tremendous amount of radio energy almost instantly. But nothing visible remained at the same location. No obvious explosion, no nearby star, no repeating signal. At first, some scientists wondered whether it was interference from Earth, but later discoveries showed that similar bursts were appearing across the sky. The Lorimer Burst had not been a mistake. It was the first clue that the universe was filled with short, violent radio flashes from sources humanity had never seen before. But one mystery is even stranger than all the signals we have detected. It is the signal we have never received. The strangest signal from space may be the one we have never received. The Milky Way contains hundreds of billions of stars. Many are older than the Sun. Some have planets, and a few may have had billions of years to develop life, technology, and civilizations far beyond our own. So where is everyone? This is the Fermi paradox. If intelligent life is common, the galaxy should contain radio signals, probes, megastructures, or some other visible evidence. Yet every serious search has found only silence. Maybe advanced civilizations stop using radio. Maybe they destroy themselves before spreading between stars. Maybe intelligent life is incredibly rare. Or perhaps something prevents civilizations from surviving long enough to become visible. The universe has sent us bursts, pulses, flashes, and unexplained radio waves, but never a clear message. And that silence may be more disturbing than any signal we could receive. If you made it this far, comment silence so I know you were listening.